Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, kings and queens of the land. Good afternoon, the liberated zone of Africa, Burkina Faso. We salute President Captain Ibrahim Traore for taking the motherland using force. We also salute Asim Goita of Mali for using force to take the motherland from the French colonial masters. We also salute President Tian for also taking the motherland using the gun. We salute you. We salute you, President Zuma, in South Africa, the liberated zone of KZN, for taking the motherland using the ballot. We salute you, President Zuma. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mnguni Mkhonto. This is the royal opinion. Good afternoon to the royals, the kings and queens of the land. Today we are talking about the issue of Phalaphala. We are talking about Julius Malema and Phalaphala. We're talking about why the EFF takes the issue of Phalaphala to court. We're talking about what they seek to achieve about that. Yeah. And whether, in our opinion, are they going to succeed in what they seek to achieve with taking Phalaphala to the Constitutional Court. Those who don't have the background, let me just give a little bit of background. President Ramaphosa, in his farm called Phalaphala, some money was stolen there, which was in foreign currency, in American dollars to be precise. It was stolen from his house in the farm. It was put under the mattress. It was hidden under the mattress of his bed. So somebody who works there saw the money, and the money, obviously, when you are hungry and you can see the dollars every day, you make a plan. So the domestic worker made an arrangement with other people to steal the money, and they stole the money. That is the background. Arthur Fraser then reported the issue to police, that President Ramaphosa was supposed to declare the dollars that he had in under his mattress, and he did not declare. So the issue of Phalaphala, a report by the former public protector, Bosiswe Mkhwebane, Advocate Mkhwebane, raised some questions, 31 questions, which were sent to President Ramaphosa by the public protector relating to Phalaphala. They got Advocate Mkhwebane to be impeached, those questions which she sent to President Ramaphosa. Recently, Mapisa Ngagula also said the troubles started when she investigated, when she appointed a panel which will investigate what happens in Phalaphala. Mapisa Ngagula she was the National Assembly Speaker at the time the issue arises on a table. And Mapisa Ngagula, one of the very honest women in South Africa, believing that Ramaphosa is actually innocent and there's no need to hide anything, she decided to allow the panel to be appointed, the panel of judges which were going to investigate whether there was a case to answer for Phalaphala or there was no case for him to answer. Mapisa Ngakula, being an honest and authentic politician, uh, believing honestly, totally in her heart that President Ramaphosa is innocent, she appointed the commission. To a surprise, the commission came with a different results than what she was anticipating. Results that would get her out of a job, just like the public protector, and not only get her out of a job, also get her to be pursued. At the moment, Mapisang Ngagula facing criminal charges in South African court coming from the Phalaphala issue. The Phalaphala issue has been a thorn for many people. Some careers have ended because of the Phalaphala issue. Some people, I heard that some other people were even killed because of the Phalaphala issue. So there's the Phalaphala issue, the Phalaphala matter is a serious issue. Is now taken to court by the economic freedom fighters. They want the court to find that Parliament was irrational to refuse to consider the report by Judge Sandile Ngcobo, which found that President Ramaphosa have got a case to answer in Phalaphala. Ramaphosa obviously did not want the Phalaphala to be investigated. Mapisa Ngagula made a mistake because she did not know. She thought Ramaphosa also wanted to be transparent to South African. Julius Malema is the one who is taking the issue of Phalaphala now to court. But before we talk about why Julius Malema is taking the issue to court, the EFF, the president of the EFF, having came out clearly that he is against President Zuma and is against the unity of black people and is against the MK party, said yesterday that the MK party is not invited to come to the protest or to come to the march, not necessarily protest, to the march against the Phalaphala saga. He says any other party is invited except MKP. I think Julius Malema is now too much exposed. He's too much exposed. I think he needs really intelligent people around him who can advise him. He's too much exposed. He's surrounded by totally wrong people who will not assist him with anything. He's too much exposed. I think he lacks a lot in terms of intelligence. Let's play this video where he is actually talking. There's a lot of things that we're going to talk about in this video. Before we talk about the reason why he takes the issue to the
required by the rules of parliament. Why? Because they know that if we were to say, is there prima facie evidence or not, we're going to be subjective because we're politicians. So on matters such as those, you outsource them to non-parliamentarians so that you get an objective view. And that's what we did. We argue that the panel's report, Parliament can't go against it without any rational reason. Parliament has not reasoned why it went against the panel report. So, in South Africa, you cannot abuse majority. Majoritarian will only work where there is no constitution. Majoritarian cannot stand the test of time in court. If you say the majority have voted, even if they voted in an unconstitutional manner.
When he talks about the majoritarian, he talks about when he is saying basically in South Africa the majority cannot govern, because if you decide as a majority to take a decision that the people who have been put into place by the white system to evaluate in parliament are going to benefit them or not, then it will not happen. They will take you to court, because no majority, when they want, they say democracy is majority rule. When the majority has to rule, they say the court has to uh, uh, rule instead of the people. They say majority must rule when they want us to go and vote. They say the court must rule. That's what he says. In South Africa, majority does not rule. It's the minority that rules through the constitution. Let's listen to him.
And then you say, no, majority have spoken. There's nothing we can do about it. Our constitution doesn't work like that. Every decision, even a decision of the majority, must meet a rational test. And that's what we're going to do. We have never hidden.
And who is testing who sets the standard for the rational test is the white agenda. The rational test that he's talking about is whether this decision is going to serve white people, or is going to divert from the agenda of the white system. So, Malema, speaking for white people.
Away the reasons why we removed the former deputy president from KZN and those that were deployed with him. We had a meeting of our owners, the EFF. We made assessment. An assessment we made out of our own now direct interaction with the ground in KZN and the complaints we have been receiving from KZN led to the removal of the former deputy president and others. You know, to show you that there was something wrong that the deputy president was doing with other colleagues in KZN. Everything that was reported to us was extremely perfect. So they mastered the mechanism to meet the requirements, even if those things do not exist. There was a point where we wanted people to the stadium, to Moses Mabhida Stadium. And the numbers we received were extremely more than the numbers we received for votes. And that on its own just told us there's something wrong here. And then we did not intervene after. We intervened before. Unfortunately, we were very late. And that's why after we intervened, the SG was able to pull a mother of all matches before the elections in eThekwini. Because that time we're now reclaiming our organization and trying to reposition it. Unfortunately, we're out of time and we had to go to the elections.
So now is blaming the decline of the EFF in KZN to Floyd Shivambu. So he's blaming to the decline of the EFF in KZN to Floyd Shivambu. Initially, he blamed it on President Zuma. Now, because he has to change and set the new agenda, he has to change and comply with the new agenda. He says, uh, because this will help him to make news and he thinks it will help him to improve his his name. He thinks if for him to rise, that's his psychology. He think for him to rise, President Zuma and the MK party and Floyd Shivambu must go down. He does not understand that black people can all rise together. So now he's blaming his loss of the demise of the EFF in KZN to Floyd Shivambu. But that is very far from the truth because it's not only the EFF which has lost votes in KwaZulu Natal. The IFP, the ANC, the National Democratic, the Freedom Front, the National Democratic Alliance, all of those parties, they all have lost votes to the MK party. So now he's giving it a wrong diagnostic for the purpose of propaganda so that there's material that will be used by the propaganda stations against Floyd Shivambu and against President Zuma. Is too exposed. I think we need to police him when he speak because he's now loose. Whatever he's speaking, he just speak. I think there's nobody to advise him.
Um, me and President Zuma were very good. The same way me and President Ramaphosa were very good. But it doesn't stop me from saying he's corrupt. Because he is corrupt. By being good to you doesn't mean I must not tell you the truth. Speech yesterday in the Gauteng General Assembly, I said, you must tell the truth even if telling the truth to a lover or your lifetime partner or your wife or your husband. If it is the truth, it must be told. President Zuma is corrupt. And it's not me. The public protector found him to.
He's saying Zuma is corrupt. He's saying like that President Zuma Back again. I think I was out because of internet. We're back again. The sabotage continues, but we're here. Whenever I'm talking serious issues, I get disturbed. It's like, okay, it's fine. It's like they don't want me to talk about what he's talking. They don't want me to talk about what he's saying there because this is very serious. These are very serious issues. So I will not share that video. They are refusing me to share the video because he's talking nonsense. So people will discover who he is. So, but I'll still talk about him. I'll still talk about what he says in that video. Let me try and let me just try and edit again. Maybe it will work because this is very serious. What I want to share there. Let's see if they will allow it this time around.
Gerald Square, marching all the way to Constitutional Court. I don't know what's going to happen to you, CD, because you couldn't even walk here. There's small distance here. Imagine Merifis Gerald Square to to Constitutional Court. So your problems are too many this week. So we are marching there. Why? We are highlighting the corruption of President Cyril Ramaphosa and the corruption of the ANC. And we will never stop highlighting how corrupt and ANC is and President Ramaphosa, and that doesn't clean President Zuma. I've never said I have any problem with President Zuma. Even tomorrow or any other day, I can go and have tea with him. But I don't agree with him. And I don't agree with him not only from this microphone point of view. I tell him 4 eyes that I don't agree. I'm that type of a leader. My problem.
It does not agree. It does not agree. What is it that it does not agree with President Zuma? It does not agree with the unity of black people. It does not agree. It does not agree with President Zuma on the unity of black people. Sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Mr. Fana Mlaole. Thank you, afternoon. It says afternoon royals. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Queen Cynthia there. And thank you, Listen Stole. RO afternoon. Royal opinion afternoon. This man sounds hollow. His politics are outdated, and Floyd Chivambu is maturing uh, and remains stagnant. I agree. Absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. He sounds very hollow. He sounds very empty. I used to take him a little bit more serious than what he's sounding. He sounds so hollow and so empty. I hope there's people who can be around him. I heard him saying, I actually heard him saying that even Vuyani Pambo, let's say Vuyani Pambo finds out that his wife is cheating. I mean, Malema's wife is cheating, and he does not tell him. It's a betrayal. He calls that a betrayal. It means people like Vuyani Mpambo now must know that they should put a tracker in his wife, because they will be to be blamed, or EFF members will be blamed if his wife goes out to have relations with other people and they don't tell him. He says it's a betrayal. So members of the EFF should tell him when his wife, like, he should be clear. Godrich Gadi, he says Godrich Gadi says even if this guy was jokingly saying he wants to go to MK, he was gonna tell the CIC. This guy told a very bad joke, uh, which is basically shameful. It's actually shameful from Godrich Gad. I took him a better leader than just being a groupie. He's a groupie. I mean, if you talk about such things, very bad example. Very, very bad example. It lacks intelligence. It lacks wisdom. So, but let's continue and play his interview. And at later stage, we will talk exactly why is he taking the issue of Phalaphala to the Concord. What does he seek to achieve?
In South African politics is that I'm not a pushover. No one can push me around. Not white monopoly capital, not a white person, not so much powerful leader can push me around. And I'm hated for that. That no one can push me over. That such someone from a poor background, so poor family and so poor everything, who is he to think he can defy us? But that's me and that's my nature. I don't care. I stick to principle. No one can push me over. Not in a marriage, not in my family, not in politics, not in the social circle. I'm no pushover. I'm not a pushover. And I'm not going to allow anyone to push me over because we've got some relationship. If my wife can't push me over, why would President Zuma push me over? For what? Why? What will I be begging from him? Which I did not beg from him when I was in the Youth League, when I was in the ANC.
Mixing family issues and politics, talking about wife in politics, it shows lack of maturity. This guy is like very far from being a matured man. I mean, you can't hear President Zuma speaking like this. This is totally irrational. Uh, I hope he's still okay. I just pray that he's still okay.
So it can't be that because we're being civil with President Zuma, therefore, when you are civil with him, you can't disagree with him. You must allow him to push you around, not me. And Mail and Guardian came with something, man, this weekend, which Ndlozi responded to. Rebellion, which is another question we asked. There is no branch that is going to protest here. Not a single one. As a political reporter, you have to have at least an entry understanding of politics. Just entry. You may not understand the depth of politics, but just have the most basic thing. So let's tell you basic and the instrument you use to measure whether there's going to be a problem or not is those PGAs we had yesterday and a day before. They were not just PGAs. We were testing the waters so that we can anticipate and detect where the problem is going to come from. There was no single problem. Not one, not anywhere. The people you are talking about, they were never spoken about anywhere. Anyway, in 9 provinces, we registered 95% of expected delegates. All of them are registered. They are coming to UJ on the 12th to come and receive their accreditation after producing their ID. Everybody is registered. So you should know that the PGAs will tell you what's going to happen. And your bosses know because you were there in the PGAs. But the PGAs are not trending in the media. And this I was telling my wife. I said, you know why? She said, why? I said, because there was nothing wrong. Nothing went wrong. That's why they can't trend. You don't talk positive about the EFF. If any province had disrupted the PGA, that province was going to be a defamation of all our PGAs, including those that were successful. Betile weekend. Disappointed. Wah! We're normal, the tactician. We are no longer tactician. Betile weekend team. Nothing. Nothing that happened in the PGAs that is not going to happen here. And we did nothing. We went, we opened the PGAs, all of us. And then after that, we left so that branches can talk freely and express themselves. And which they did. And I don't know why you don't learn, because this is a repetition of what we've been doing over a period of time. And many of you were there and were aging together. Very soon you will be called veteran political journalist, but you still don't have an understanding of how do you get to see what's going to happen next. Everybody that I said that your favorites are going to leave the EFF, all those that we have anticipated are gone. Are gone. Everybody that we thought is going to leave, they left. Now we're proper. That's why you go fundraising even expired goods that are no longer relevant to the EFF. And then you say, so-and-so is leaving from the EFF, like high profile, referring to an expired goods. Because you are running out of high profiles. There is no one who's going to leave the EFF. Mail and Guardian even says Exodus. Exodus must exit. In your imagination, Exodus, if we can say to you, give us a list of 15 members who left the EFF, 15, Exodus. You can't give us that. Nothing like that. Tell us which councillors of the EFF in the most remote rural municipalities have resigned from the EFF to join MK. None. But we can give those in case they turn about the ANC. But it's not called Exodus. Tell us of any branch of the EFF that called a press conference under the tree and say, as this branch, you are all leaving the EFF. Nothing. Tell me of any region that has said and taken a decision that as Ikuruleni region, as eThekwini, as Bembe region who have taken a decision who are leaving the EFF. Nothing like that. So imagination is what is destroyed Mail and Guardian, by the way. Mail and Guardian was used to be the most influential newspaper. You guys have run it down. It is now even worse than Sunday World. Sunday World is more perfect with politics than Mail and Guardian, which used to set the agenda. And this is not a media attack. It's an honest assessment. So this is what used to happen when we were growing up. Because we were in the newspapers when we were young. I don't get involved. Even in my discussion with individual leaders of the EFF, I tell them we can talk about everything else except that who must become what. It's not my business to do that. The provincial leadership of the EFF came to me, all provinces came to me and asked me to avail myself as a president of the EFF in the next NPA.
This is shocking. I mean, this is shocking. He said they should not campaign through the media. He said everybody else should not campaign through the media, but he comes and campaign through the media, and the other politicians in the EFF are their hands are tied. He comes and declare himself that he is available with his entourage, that they are actually available to stand, and then sidelining other people who also want to stand and who did not have the opportunity to come to the media. Shocking. Like, this is petty politics. Next time I'll avoid talking about this guy because I think he's totally empty. There's nothing that we can get out of him. I was exposing him before because it was necessary for the members of the EFF to realize who he is. So I wanted for people, even though people were calling for black unity by then, and people were cautious in criticizing him, I was one of the people who was criticizing him during that time and openly uh, uh, telling what he is. We should have known when he got funding from Lord Renwick for EFF. We should have known. He lies. He says the EFF is the organization of black people. It was not. It is not funded by white people. If you go to the declaration now, what they have declared in Parliament, the funding that they have received now during 2024 elections, they have declared white organization funding them. They did declare some white organization that are funding them. The EFF was started by a white man. They funded by a white man, so it was started by a white man. You can't say the EFF does not belong to white people, while it was actually even paid for, started for by the white man. Um, he talks quite a lot of things that are totally misaligned. But let's continue to. He was actually surrounded by very powerful people. I think Dalimpofu and Floyd Shivambo left him too exposed. He's so exposed. He does not, his communication skills is falling into pieces. His personal skills to how to relate to people falling into, he does not even know how to relate with others.
And I agreed. And they only came to discuss me with me. They didn't come to discuss other people. And it is their duty as provincial leaders to do that. To do that, to tell us that you must avail yourself, or even if you avail yourself, please be aware that we will not support you for this position. It doesn't mean hatred. It's just an honesty so that when you arrive here at the NPA, you don't say, these guys hate me. Why didn't they talk to me? I would have understood. No, they are doing their work. And as part of the tradition, all of us who are sitting here today, leaders of the EFF in the provinces before the current ones, came to us to come and ask us to avail ourselves. And we are following the same process that has happened even before. I think that is that. Is there any question I didn't answer? No. I answered that one of. We don't anticipate any challenge. We are anticipating a robust debate, because even the criteria used to bring delegates here was of a higher standard. The branch had to meet a particular standard. And you know, once this branch meets this particular standard, it will produce a quality delegate who will not be obsessed with votes. Because the branches that are not of quality, they produce voting kettles. Voting kettles don't care about discussions. When you talk about organizational redesign, international relations, blah, blah, you speak for a very long time, SG. When you finish, what? Fagigam. They don't hear those things we're talking about. It's like there's only one side that is being heard. Or impression is created that there is one side which actually has got monopoly over the bill. So we are not going to sit back. And the reason why I told Panyaza is because they are still the largest majority, and that much will have to happen in Gauteng. So we don't want to create a situation where the impression is created that ANC is going to join an EFF march, and you know them with their ego. They will have a problem. They will stay away. But we are prepared to hold hands with everyone who support that the president must sign the bill. I mean, the sections that he did not sign off the other day, we want them to be signed off, because that is at the center of the transformation of education. And anyone progressive will not be doubtful that those are the sections that are going to transform the sector of education and transform society, because society is constituted through education. That's why education becomes a highly contested terrain. Afrikanerdom, to be what it is, it thrives through education and culture. So it's important to get education, to get culture, to get sports in order to create a national identity. In the absence of such a progressive education, which advocates for transformation, we'll continue to have a divided society. And that's what makes us feel very strong. A message has been communicated clearly to President Ramaphosa that he needs to sign, and he needs to sign now. And in the couple of weeks, if he has not signed, whether the ANC is coming on board or not, we are going to be mobilizing our people and going to march to the union building that the president must sign the bill, because that is what we have supported throughout in Parliament. I think the leadership has answered the question on availability. The Progressive Caucus is based on the Progressive Charter. And that charter only applies in Parliament. So it's not based on anyone who agrees with what is in the charter can belong to a Progressive Caucus. You don't have to be left. Let's take, for example, I was in a meeting now this weekend of, not this weekend, the past week or a week before in Parliament of Ethics Committee, where
Yeah, so
sense of the committee. Ntlamulo nominated J.P. Klope and Mandisa Makasini of the EFF supported the nomination of J.P. Klope. We did not get the necessary numbers. And I nominated Mandisa as a co-chairperson from NCOP of the EFF, Makasin, and Ntlamulo of MK supported the name of Mandisa. There was no caucus. There was no caucus position, nothing. But there is a principal agreement among us as parties that we are opposed to GNU. And wherever GNU raises its ugly head, we'll confront it, we'll crush it. We don't have to exchange notes. We don't have to have a caucus in order to, because we have agreed on a minimum program. So we're going to work together. Why would I not work together with someone who says, let's support the expropriation of land without compensation? Even Helen Zille, if she can come and say, let's expropriate without compensation, I will hug her. Because that's what the EFF stands for. The progressive charter is based on the 7 non-negotiable cardinal pillars of the EFF, by the way, if you don't know. Go and read the progressive charter of the Progressive Caucus and compare with the 7 non-negotiable cardinal pillars of the EFF. You will realize this is a copy and paste of what the EFF stands for. I remember the only contribution was made by from MKP by Mqitama, where we said expropriation of land without compensation for equal redistribution. Mqitama said, let's not use equal, let's use equity. No, he didn't say equity. He said a word, man. We said for equal redistribution, and then he said something else, but he had a problem with the word equal. And he was saying we must put equity or something. Yeah, so that's how much the discussion went about towards the adoption of that progressive chart. Netanyahu, we support it. We support the warrant of arrest for Netanyahu for violation of human rights, for genocide, for killing innocent people. I have already written a question to President Ramaphosa, a parliamentary question, asking him, if Netanyahu comes to South Africa, will you arrest him the same way you said you'll arrest Putin? He has to answer that question. Because Ramaphosa has got another headache. Because Putin must come to South Africa next year, November, for G20. What's going to happen? Is he going to threaten to arrest him the same way he did? Or is he going to, in a cowardice manner, tell him not to come? But he can go to Putin's home. But he can't allow Putin to come to his home. What a coward. Let Ramaphosa pronounce from his mouth. He's going to answer that question. He's either going to answer it now, because you don't ask him critical questions. You ask him artificial questions. That question is going to arise when he appears next in Parliament. And I will ask him, will you arrest Netanyahu if he brings his big shoe, ugly shoe, to South Africa? Because he must be arrested. And that premier of Western Cape said he was going to arrest Putin. We will arrest Netanyahu ourselves. If Cyril is not prepared to arrest Netanyahu, we will mobilize our people, we'll go and arrest him. If he dare comes to South Africa. If he knows what is good for him, he must never come to this country. We don't harbor murderers and killers of children and women. We are for human rights. We are with the people of Palestine, and we do not doubt ourselves when it comes to that. MKP, did it reach out to us and all of that? They've never reached out to us. But the majority of President Zuma, if there is anything like that for him, given the relationship we have, when some prominent leaders of the EFF were going to MK, he had a responsibility to give us a courtesy call.
Can you imagine? He's even blaming President Zuma for not telling him that. He's even blaming President Zuma for not telling him that Floyd Shivambu is joining MK party. He wanted, according to him, President Zuma owes him an explanation. Was supposed to call him and explain to him that Comrade Manye is going to leave you and Comrade Floyd Shivambu is going to leave you. So me and you really need to talk as if those are children. And those are children of President Zuma and him. They both gave birth to, and they have to discuss those children. this is shocking the way he's thinking. I thought he was better than this. Yeah, he used to call people dom cops. I don't know now. Now I don't know really any EFF member who is still in the EFF. They must ask themselves if this is the leader that they are not disappointed. This is the leader that they want to lead South Africa. Eh, those who are still remaining in the EFF. Actually, those who are remaining, they should know that they must as well be aware that they will be blamed tomorrow for his personal issues, his fallouts on his relationships with other people. They will be blamed. Even Vuyani Mpambo should know that he should be very careful because he's the next one to be blamed now, especially if his wife can go and have relationship outside. Vuyani must know those things and he must report to him. This is shocking for an adult and somebody who have reached this level of politics to think like that. I never thought we could have an old child like this.
If he is really an elder, if he's really matured, if he's really a statesman who's got this relationship with us, whereas we're trying to build a progressive caucus that will unite black people, he had a duty to say, hey man, there is this thing that is going to happen. You must know that I have nothing to do with it. I can't choose for members, which is right. He can't choose for people whether they want to come or they don't want to come. But that courteous call, which he often made to me when on other matters, on this matter, he never cared to make that call. And that makes the relations to be strained, by the way. Because when you think you've got this kind of relationship with someone and you get treated like you are nothing, you also start behaving like you are nothing to them. If you are nothing to them, they are nothing to you. And that's it. That's the end of it. It's like Vuyani knows that my wife is involved in infidelity. He keeps quiet. He doesn't tell me. When I find out and I ask Vuyani, he says, no, I knew, but it was not my place to tell you. That is a betrayal. That's not loyalty. It's like these people who are in the EFF who said to us, we knew so and so was going to leave, but did not tell the leadership. And they still want the relationship to be the same. You cannot know such information and not tell me and expect me to trust you. I do not trust them, and I will never trust them. Because trust is earned when you show loyalty at a point when it is needed, not loyalty of nice time.
You must tell him when his wife is cheating. If you are an EFF member, wherever you are, no, you are must be policing whatever that has to do with Julius Malem, because otherwise you will betray him. It would be a betrayal. It's gonna be a betrayal if he finds out you knew about it. Those who know his child, if his child is drinking alcohol, you must make sure you report to him, because it's gonna amount to a betrayal, and you may lose your position in the EFF. Nkosana Fulan, thank you very much for joining. A little bit late, an hour later. Afternoon, the royal family. Marking the register. Malema is delusional. When someone quits his job, does not tell his CEO, or he tells the HR department, there was no need for Comrade to tell him. There was basically no need for any other person, even the person who is resigning has no obligations to tell him, to give him a special courtesy to tell him before the resignation letter. You just write the resignation letter and hand it over. They will see in the letter. So, but yeah, he's even giving a very bad example, a groupie kind of example. It's like he's childish. He says that's a very bad example. Even Vuyani Mpambo himself, he should actually be embarrassed to be seen with him. Uh, uh, because that's how we're gonna think about him. We're going to think he's the same. We're going to think he's the same kind. Ramapalun. That precious Malach, you are killing me with laughter. Ramapalun.
When it's nice, no, we are loyal, president, CIC. When things are bad, you can't show that loyalty. You must show loyalty at the most tested moments. You sit there comfortably with people who are telling you an issue that is going to bring the organization into disrepute, an issue that is going to negatively affect the organization, and say, no, it was not my place to tell you. Where is loyalty there? You're not loyal. And people who are not loyal must never be trusted by anyone. They will kill you. You will die. You must vakervort. Kabaisa, without hey, you and so and so must make it and be together. We're fine. We're colleagues, we're fine. It ends there. So, when you have shown loyalty to people, when you have been loyal, and you don't have a sense of betrayal, wait for the day you get betrayed. You will understand how we feel about betrayal. We, loyal people. We've never done anything to harm these people. I always ask and I always say to these comrades, for every moment there must be a turning point. You must say, it was at this point when I knew that we're heading for divorce now. What was that point? Can they point that point where they say, this was a turning point? This was a turning point. No one can point at that turning point. Because a turning point helps, because even if you are in denial, but you'll know we fought on this point. You go and sit with people who are telling you they are leaving the EFF. You say, have you prayed about it? Have your mom prayed about it? And then you keep quiet. And then you think we must all survive through prayer. Now we must be informed by prayer, by Holy Spirit, that people are going when you've got information. That is the highest form of disloyalty. And Godrich says, even if he had told me as a joke, I would have brought it to the attention of the leadership that this guy made a silly joke. This is what he said. That's what loyalty is about. Loyalty means defend the organization in private and in public. Our organization went through a particular period where all leaders had to come out and defend it, and you were not there.
So loyalty for him is for people who goes around sniffing for your issues and then coming to tell you, like he's totally confused about loyalty because he's grown up in the ANC Youth League, so he got a bit of confusion because he's grown up while he's getting stories from people, getting information seated. So he thinks people should give him information, continue to give. They owe him. Everybody owes him an explanation. I hope he's still.
Why must I be there for you? Why should the organization be there for you when you were not there, when the organization needed you the most? And people go around here raising names of such people and they think we must still trust them too, having known what these people have done to the organization. The organization gets insulted. The leadership gets insulted. In your name, people even threaten to disrupt EFF's conference. In your name, you keep quiet and then you say, we must say loyal. What loyal? You will rather be alone, my brother. My sister, you will rather be alone than to force yourself in a relationship that is not working. I'm using relationship to simplify this disloyalty that we have experienced ourselves. And how do I come to know that this person has known, that one has known about Floyd going? They don't volunteer even after he left. They don't volunteer to come and tell me. They wait for me to come and ask them, did you know? Yes. For how long? For over 2 weeks now. Why did you keep quiet? I didn't see a need for me to tell you. That was a turning point for me with them. They must tell you what was their turning point with me. My turning point with them was when they kept the information away from me. An information that has got potential to destroy the organization, damage its beautiful reputation, and bring it into disrepute. They keep quiet. And then I must talk for them. I must defend them when they could not defend the organization. Hell no. They can go to hell. I'm not going to do that. Even if that means we must lose vote, I'm not going to fight for votes by sitting with people who are disloyal because I want votes. I must spend time with people who are disloyal. You know what it means to be an official. We have a meeting of the top 6 and they say the most highest form of secrets of the EFF because we trust each other. That's what being an official means. It emanates from trusting each other, not as a friends, SG, but as a person who can be trusted that you will defend the organization under the most difficult position. Imagine if one of these officials had resigned and followed the former deputy president. That's disloyalty. Don't ask me to share a meal with disloyal people. You are asking me to commit suicide. My son, very liberal in his approach. Don't know that, wait. Let's give them chance. What. That's when I tweeted those things of Zuma, those old videos of Zuma. When we got expelled from the ANC, Zuma and the top 6 of the ANC laughing. I said, boys, if they can get you, they will have you for breakfast and laugh about it. You get an opportunity to get to them. You don't use it. These people who sat with Floyd and knew Floyd was going, they were at the center of that planning my downfall. Had they caught me, they would have finished me off. That's how politics work. If they catch you, they will finish you. You catch them, you play with an opportunity. Then you'll have yourself to blame. That's the problem because of this kind of business we're dealing with. Those are politics for you. I said, Ratanang, ask yourself a question. If they'd found me at my weakest, what would have happened to me? I know this because I'm from it. I'm from that. I know all of this that is prevailing. Where I get expelled, the people I grew up with, the people that I shared a meal with, the people that I didn't have to think twice about them. When I called them to come over so that we can form a political party, they didn't come. I slept with 10 friends before I was expelled. I woke up alone because they were never my friends. You are not going to ask me to travel that path again. I'm not going to do it. Never. I'm not going to do it. Not for anyone. I know what disloyalty means. And I can see one when it appears and I can touch it. They would have done that to me when I was young. Not now. The only people I feel bad about is their parents. Because most of them come from very beautiful mothers who love and support the EFF. And every time we deal with them like that, say those things I said in Leanne's podcast because she was very angry and the national chair came and said, put age restriction on that thing because you say wrong things. It's longevity. You know, it must take long. It must not be quick. Longevity. That's where loyalty comes from. It's like, that's what revolution is. Revolution comes out of longevity. Revolution is numbers. Some people say size doesn't matter. Size. They say size doesn't matter. But in the revolution, size matters. Size. Longevity is very important. As we build this organization, which is still at its formative stages, you must expect the staff riders. You must expect the position mongers who fail to achieve certain things where they are and think the quickest way is through this way. As they fall on the way, you can't say the organization has failed because out of those experiences, out of that hard-working membership and leadership, loyal and disciplined members are going to emerge. And we are very patient with that process. We are ranking ourselves 10 out of 10. I'm blowing my own horn. TG saying she's not blowing. Hey, these people will not blow a horn for you. You will wait for a horn, it will never come. I'm blowing my own horn. I'm blowing a horn, you know. As Bashabi, when we are in a gathering of the Bashabis, there's always a horn that must be blown to and I must be challenged one day and be pushed. I will talk. Don't push me. So, what we are doing here as colleagues is to deliver a mandate of 5 years in 3 years. Divisive leader should have asked for 2 more years. We're supposed to sit here for 7 years, national chair. Because we
Yeah, the reason they failed, basically, yeah, the reason they failed, I wanted to talk about something else which is important. I don't know whether the clip is still coming or is not coming, but it's where he was talking about the MK members, where he says whenever they meet them, where he's basically
they even forget what they've
the MK
tweeted. They are just driven by what is trending. This lady of a beauty contest, Miss South Africa, Chidima. Twitter, hey, Chidima, hey, we supported Chidima. We still do. Why? It's a black person. You don't say support black people and a black person gets attacked in the manner they did.
he always says he is for black people. Let me remove him from my screen. He always says he's for black people. Black people were killed in KZN in 2021. He did not comment. He blamed President Zuma for not wearing a Palestine scarf. But I have never heard him commenting about the Congo, the DR Congo, where the Americans are basically killing people every day, killing people every single day in the Congo, not in Palestine. Black people, the ritualistic murder of black people here, the Zamazamas, in the northwest, the ritualistic killing where the police went to close uh, the hole in the mine, the shaft. They went to close using concrete so that people can suffocate inside, and they won't have access to food. Black people. He said they should be killed. He mentioned, he said in one clip that they should actually be killed. So he's totally out. He's not for black people. Malema is a mouthpiece of white people, and he represents whiteness in its core as he is. So the reason today we have the issue of Phalaphala in court, quickly let me talk about that so that we can close the conversation. The reason today they are taking the issue to court. This Phalaphala saga was supposed to be taken to court by the Freedom Front Plus. The reason it's not taken by Freedom Front Plus now, it's given to the EFF, is because the EFF, previously they have improved uh, they actually their image. They have improved their image previously through the court ruling uh, of the public protector, the court ruling of the court, in the case of the public protector versus President Zuma. They've gained a lot of popularity during that time when they went to court to against President Zuma. The reason they gained some uh, votes to 9%, it was because their popularity was increased by giving them those cases to win, and so that they can look like they know the law and they are ready to govern. So that is what is happening at the moment. Freedom Fund Plus, Cyril Ramaphosa has to move out of government. The plan was to deliver the ANC to white people. After delivering the ANC to white people, Cyril Ramaphosa has to move out of the ANC. So he's not standing in 2029 for the re-election uh, as ANC president. So the GNU, or the white people, are worried that they don't have a candidate for 2029. They are not sure of what is going to happen in 2020. In 2027, when the ANC goes to conference. They don't have a real candidate that they can trust. So this time around, they want to remove Ramaphosa, so that the instability happens now before the actual election, which is 2027. So that now they have a chance between 2027 and now to fix whatever is a problem in the ANC. They just want to make sure that, let's say, um, Paul Mashatile is elected as the president of the ANC, they will have a chance to fix that. They will have a chance to eliminate Paul Mashatile through court cases or any other issues that they have until they install their own person. So the reason they want to remove Ramaphosa is going to be removed. The reason they want to remove him is because uh, the fact that he's not coming back to the ANC. So he's done his job, he's done his part, he's served the white man the way he's supposed to serve. So now Julius Malema has been given this case. That's why he says he does not want the MK party to attend, because I think he's been tipped that the case may fall in his way. In order to boost the image of the EFF towards the um elections, the 2026 local government elections. That is the reason why the EFF is taking the case to court. It's not like they have fought against President Ramaphosa. They're still together with President Ramaphosa. But President Ramaphosa, in any way, he has to go. And if he goes at a later stage, the white people may not have chance to fix the damages that may have been caused by the transition, because sometimes these things gives them trouble. President Zuma was one person who was not wanted by white people, but he managed to go through the ranks of the ANC until he became the president. So sometimes two of those people that they don't want may sneak in, but they have a way to deal with such people until they are out. Hey, Mr. Shongwe is also joining here. Your loyalty is earned, not demanded. It's earned, not demanded. You earn it. You don't demand. So the actual reason why they are taking this issue to court is not to fight against President Ramaphosa, is actually to allow Ramaphosa to either clear his name on his way out. He's going to be removed as the president. He will not finish his term, but he's not getting removed because of the MK party or any other people. It's because of the DA. The DA wants him out because he's no more relevant for use in the future. So they want people like Ronald Lamola, who are still relevant, young and relevant, to continue if they can place him in the position as deputy president or as president of the ANC, then they would have done well. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining, and thank you for participating in the show. Julius Malema, a big embarrassment at this moment. I call for all the people. He even calls for black people to fight against each other on social media. He says MK Party and the EFF members should fight. Um, while President Zuma is calling for unity of black people, Julius Malema is calling for black people to fight on social media. That's where it starts. They will fight in social media and they will fight in the streets when they meet. At the end of the day, he's calling for violence against, uh, uh, for black on black violence. This is a very dangerous leader for black people in South Africa. Thank you very much for everybody. Kungani angayingeni i-GNU yakhe? Kungani? Kungani vele? Why angayijoin? He's going to join the GNU. He's going to join the GNU. He's going to be part of the GNU. What is waiting for? It's because a lot of people are going to be shocked. I mean, and he's going to lose a lot of members. He's now against the MK party. He's now against the DA. He's against the ANC. You will never understand exactly what he stands for and who is he standing with. You will never understand whether he calls President Zuma wants black people to be united. He calls. He makes a call against black unity. Shockingly, he says he wants Africa to be united, but making a call for South Africans to be divided. He says there should not be any unity under President Zuma. But everybody knows we can't unite under Julius Malema. He's not uh, 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 properly matured. Don't undermine people. People are very intelligent. He said the EFF was established to prevent black people from attacking suburbs where he and his WMC friends are staying. Exactly. Where they reside. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is a too long video. I enjoyed your company. Enjoy, go on and enjoy your day. We will meet in the next podcast. Thank you.